Hi guys! We're here in Kildonan Park. While walking and sightseeing, I'm going to tell you a story. In the park, it's good to reminisce the days, reminisce our younger days and our experiences. Today I'm going to tell you the experience that I had when I was in New York. As you already know, the Filipinos don't have really much opportunities in the Philippines. So if we are able to go abroad, that is always the goal of most of the Filipinos. So many Filipinos would go to the US, Europe, Canada, or anywhere where they can find a better job opportunity. So I remember in 2002, my husband and I were able to get a multiple entry visa to the US. So in 2002, I went to the US ahead. I stayed in San Francisco for a month and I was looking for legal job opportunities, and I applied, and then I was not able to get one employer. And then we have friends from Cagayan de Oro City who were in New York, and they invited us to go there. So I went there in New York. So I have this experience with them. I started looking for employers. I was on a visitor's visa, but I started looking for employers who would be able to sponsor me for a working visa. I did get one employer who was interested in sponsoring me. He had a son who had insulin dependent diabetes. He was about 10 years old, and this diabetes of the son was an acquired one. Acquired meaning it was not inherited. The father was telling me that they went on a vacation in a tropical country and the son got an infection in the pancreas. From that time on, he had diabetes. So his insulin producing gland in the pancreas was destroyed. And so he needed insulin injections, and he was just a kid. And you know, a kid cannot really take care of themselves. They can play, they miss their meals, or they would overeat and have high blood sugar. So that was why the father was looking for somebody who has a background in medicine that could take care of his son, monitor the blood sugar, and do the injections. So he was interested in sponsoring me. But then the thing was, I could not bring my family. I would be acting like a nanny. So I decided against taking that employment. But anyway, since I had 5 months left on my visitor's visa, I consumed that 5 months, and I went with these Filipinos doing odd jobs in New York. I knew 3 couples who were there in New York, and they came on a visitor's visa which already expired. They stayed there illegally because they continued to work and to give provisions for their families. So I'm telling you this story because I wanted to give testimony to what extent parents sacrifice for their kids. These 3 couples who came from our city, they were there for a number of years already, and they just sent money to the Philippines to pay for the provisions and the schooling of their kids. Now these 2 couples have older kids already. They were in college, so they were really spending a lot for their tuition because they were taking up medical technology course, and there was one whose kid took up physical therapy and nursing. So these courses really were expensive. Now this one other couple, their kids were still young. They left behind their 3 kids like toddlers, 2 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, like those ages. These toddlers were just taken care of by the grandparents. So these 3 couples work as housekeepers. So they work in one family. Each one have one employer. The husband would work as driver and the wife would work as the all-around maid. These are odd jobs. They had days off on weekends. So that's why we stayed in one house owned by a Filipina doctor. We were renting there. My husband also followed me, and we were there in New York, and we were doing odd jobs. We were cleaning houses, I was doing babysitting, we were doing yard work. So I can just ponder on the suffering the parents would do to really give their kids a good future. These 3 couples, they were doing menial jobs, being drivers or house help in a rich family. They also missed their kids. At that time, I did not remember that there was already FaceTime where you could talk to your kids like face to face. They just talked to them by phone. I remember during our days off, they would buy phone cards. That's how they compensate for the homesickness. These were success stories. These 2 couples really became immigrants through legal proceedings. But they suffered separation for years. And then this other couple, the 3rd one, who left their kids who were young, after 6 years, I think, they went home because the wife had a sister who was working abroad, and she promised her to go home and then seek employment abroad legally. Now with this couple, the 3rd one who had young children, they went home, and then by that time we were already here in Winnipeg, and I tried to help them come here in Manitoba as a provincial nominee. So I gave the couple the application forms and I tried to help them. But then they got in contact with an illegal recruiter. So this young couple who I was trying to help, an illegal recruiter got hold of them, and because of the promises like instant departure, like in 3 months they would already go to the US, they were asked 400,000 pesos for each of them. They gave the illegal recruiter 800,000 pesos. And this 800,000 pesos came from the sister who promised them financial assistance. And they were tempted to go that route because it was immediate. Because the nominee program that I was offering them, it will take time, and the procedure is long. You have so many papers to submit, and so they left that route. And sad to say, they found out that of course they were not able to leave in 3 months, and they discovered that they were scammed. So they filed a case, but then they could not recover their money because the money was gone already. And the illegal recruiter was really imprisoned. But they could not go anywhere anymore, this couple, because they lost the money. I'm just saying what happened to them, but the point of my story, why I'm telling you this, because you can really see the willingness of the parents to sacrifice for their kids. These 3 couples that I was telling you, they stayed there in New York, work odd jobs, and for the sake of the kids. The two couples had success stories, and this other one, we'll say that did not succeed, but actually they're better off being together in the Philippines with their kids rather than have their kids grow up without them. I was essentially happy for them also. So when we get married, it's really dying to ourselves. This is what marriage is. We die to ourselves for the sake of our children, for the sake of the family. Just like what these three couples that I know of. They sacrificed for their families' better future. Sacrificing working menial jobs, sacrificing homesickness, and being away from the children. That's what marriage is. This is the point of my story, dying to yourself for the sake of the kids, especially. Okay guys, that is my story today. And yeah, it's good to look back to the happenings in your life. Okay, thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe so you will not miss a story, stories that I have encountered in my experience. Okay, bye.